Okay, good afternoon, friends. This afternoon we're going to discuss quadratic equations. So a quadratic is an expression of the form y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are real numbers and the a is not equal to 0. Okay, meaning that if where there is a substitute with 0, then it will become 0 plus bx plus c, meaning it ceases to be a quadratic equations. Okay, so this is why here we are being shown that a is not equal to 0, but it should be equal to any number, for example 1, a negative 1, but once it is 0, then it ceases to be a quadratic equations. That's the reason why a is not equal to 0. So now the quadratic formula for the equation ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0 is given on the next slide. So this is the quadratic formula, and it is x is equal to negative b, positive or negative, the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a, where a, b, and c are real numbers. Okay, so now we have this question here, and it says solve the quadratic equation below, giving your answers correct to 2 decimal places. So the question is there, and it's 1 minus 5m minus m squared is equal to 0. So that's the question we are going to solve using the formula, the one you just saw on the previous slide. Okay, so now on that formula we are going to identify the coefficients so that we can substitute them on the quadratic formula. So the coefficient of m, when you check here, m with the highest power here, so the coefficient of m squared is negative 1. So this is the negative 1 that we have, where a is equal to negative 1. Okay, so remember a is coming from that equation that we had where the quadratic formula is derived. It's coming from ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So ax squared, so a is this one, and for x squared, that's why now in this case, instead of x squared we have m squared, meaning that the coefficient of m squared is negative 1. Then the coefficient of m is negative 5. Then when you go back to that equation, it was written ax squared plus bx. So bx, so b, this is the one where we substitute with negative 5. So in place of b, where they're supposed to be, where we're supposed to have b, we have negative 5. So in this case, so the coefficient of m is negative 5, and the constant term is 1. So where there is c there, that's the constant term, and it's 1. Now that we have identified the coefficients, what we're going to do is we are going to substitute them in this formula here. So we have a is equal to negative 1, b is equal to negative 5, and the c is 1. So we are going to substitute them. So remember, when you look at this one, negative b, positive or negative, the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So this one, what you are going to do is this negative is alone here. If you want, you can just write negative, then you open the brackets, then you put the b inside, so that even as you substitute, it does not become very difficult for you. So if you want, you can rearrange the quadratic equation. Okay, so when you rearrange it, this is the one here, and these are the values we found on the previous slide. So now you just start substituting. So when you substitute, so remember we had negative b Okay, positive or negative, the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So b is equal to negative 5, meaning where there is b, you substitute with negative 5. So you write negative, then you open the bracket, because when you look at b here, b is positive here. So meaning where there is b, you substitute with this negative, because it has come with a negative. So negative, open bracket, negative 5, close bracket, positive or negative, then the square root. Then you open the bracket, then where is b there, you substitute with negative 5, then you close, then you square with this power 2, it should be outside the brackets and not inside. Don't forget this one. Then minus 4, open bracket. So a is negative 1, so you substitute here where there is a with negative 1, then you close with the bracket, then you open bracket, then c, which is the constant term, we have 1 here, so you substitute with 1, then divided everything here, divided by 2, open bracket, so a negative 1, then you substitute. Okay, so after you have done so, now you now proceed to the next step. This is where you arrive after doing the calculation. So we have 5 plus or minus the square root of 25 plus 4 divided by negative 2. Okay, so when you add now here 25 plus 4, you arrive at 29 here. So we have 5 positive or negative, the square root of 29 divided by negative 2. So when you reach here, you have to find the square root of 29 using a calculator. In fact, it is very advisable that when you find the square root of 29, because it will have decimal points, just looking at it, you have to write all the numbers that you see on the calculator. Okay, so after you use your calculator, so this is now your value that you found for the square root. So you have 5 positive or negative 5.38516 divided by negative 2. Since two signs of plus or minus here, we are going to split them. So the first one we are going to add, then divide by negative 2, or the other one we are going to subtract, meaning we are going to have 5 minus 5.38516 divided by negative 2. So from here we proceed here to our answers after adding all the answers. So for m, we have m is equal to negative 5.19, or m is equal to 0.19. So remember the question was saying you leave your answers to two places. Okay, so we end here. Remember to subscribe. For more information, you can